race for the puck. Here's Michael on Ellick. And it's loose. Michaels wins the puck. He scores! What an individual effort! Short-handed goal, Matteo Michels. Wow! Eagles Roof Daddy off the crossbar. Laid in fight. Driving right. Now he gains center. Left-handed shot, defenseman over the line. Nice move to the net by Tholo. Backhander scores! Nasty goal by Layden Fife. Holy smokes! He just dangled his way through the Brandon defense. They're jockstrap tagging for the Raptors tonight. Whitehead, side of the goal around, but in tight, a shot stop. Rebound in front, scores! First career Western Hockey League goal for Cole Temple, and it comes in his hometown of Brandon, Manitoba. What a story tonight. Johnny on the spot. Tao to the high slot, now to Whitehead. Down low for Howe. Right dot, back to Whitehead. One-timer scores! Regina wins it 7-6 in overtime. Braxton Whitehead is your hero tonight. Michaels grabs it, gets it to center, up the middle. Barnett, partial breakaway to the backhand. He scores! Brayden Barnett with his second of the night. Now Vaughn over the Raiders line, cutting left. A lane to the net, he shoots, and a good save by Coward. Rebound, scores! A wraparound goal for Corbin Vaughn, and it's his first in the Western Hockey League. Grab that puck!
Welcome to Pats Cast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast, with your hosts Chris Clark and Kevin Shaw. This is episode 145. It's October 1st, 2023. We're 2 weeks into the season. So first, apologies for not getting a show out last week. We kind of had a couple things come up Sunday and Monday, and there was no point in putting out a show on Tuesday for a Wednesday game. So we thought, we'll roll 2 weeks into one. So it might be a little longer. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see how it goes.
Didn't have a chance. You were busy.
Yep. So
too much was going on, so couldn't get it done.
We've had a couple. We've both been busy this year. It's but it is what it is. We'll still try to be here every week, and we'll go from there. Yeah. But yeah, so we got 5 games to talk about. We just got a couple interviews from Wednesday's loss to Moose Jaw, so we'll throw those in after we talk about that game, and because there's no point in putting any interviews in from earlier games because that's old news. But yeah, I guess to start off the season, let's start with the leadership group. You put out a poll asking who should be the captain. You had Howe, Whitehead, and Berg, and all three of those guys were named in the leadership group with Howe taking the C. Not too surprising, was it?
Not surprised at all. But in the release, they mentioned, or I think it was on the release or in a tweet, they mentioned that they might add another A later. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Yeah,
see how things shake out. They might, I don't know if you want to almost jump into it. They've brought in another 20-year-old, right? Like you bring in Keegan Slaney off waivers from Calgary. They had that open 20. Obviously, Sim's not going to be here for, sounds like a while.
Yeah, who knows? November, December, January.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Who knows?
So, maybe a guy like that, he may be new to the team, but he's a 20. He may step into that role. We don't know. We don't know him at all.
He's their most veteran defenseman. So
he is, yeah.
Yeah, and so far out of the first 5 games, he hasn't looked at a place.
Yeah, I was gonna say he looks solid. Like nothing flashy, but nothing bad either, right? So
exactly. Sometimes it's best not to have anything to say about a guy,
especially on defense, right?
On defense, yep.
Just sitting back there, getting the job done.
Doing the job.
Yeah, so let's roll into the games here. So season opener in Brandon. On the road first to begin with, and it was a 6:00 start. That's a little bit of a tough time maybe for some people. I missed the first part of the game. CHL, the app was not working. I could not log in. So I kind of struggled with that. I ended up going into the browser and logging into the website, and it worked fine. So, but yeah, I missed the first goal. Then I was fooling around with it, and all of a sudden, 9 minutes in the game, it's 3-0, and I'm thinking, ooh, this is not a great start to the season at all.
No, not at all. When it's halfway through the first period, down 3-0. I'm a Pats fan right down to the core, and I was like, they're done. They don't have a hope. Zero hope. And then all of a sudden, good old Matteo Michels gets on the board.
2 career goals up to that point, right? But yeah, we talked about it in our preview. Like the goal scoring, it might be an issue with this team, and a guy like that needs to step up. Needs to put in some goals for this team, because we don't know what's going to happen, right? Like Brad's mentioned it a couple times. This is going to be a scoring by committee team, and you need guys like Matteo Michels in that first game to score a couple. Like you get that first one, great shot, and then Berg chips in one, and then Matteo Michels on the third goal. Like, what an effort! Like that's what you want to see out of him. Like on the penalty kill, he's got his speed, he's got a pretty good work ethic, and he just outmuscles that D man and chips one in.
It's a nice goal. I have to admit that was a very, very nice goal. And for him to double his goal total of last year, or to equal his goal total last year in one game, is unbelievable. I don't think anybody had that on their scorecard, their bingo card, or whatever you want to call it.
No,
I know I didn't.
No,
I'll admit it. I had no idea what expectations were for him, but even the first game, he by far exceeded it.
Mm-hmm. Right, like we didn't really talk about any player specific, but I don't know. I don't think I could really think to see more than 10 goals out of him. You just don't know, right? He had none in his first year, 2 in his second year. Right? You're not expecting a jump to 20 or anything, so you're thinking, can you get like 10, maybe 15 out of him? Like,
that would be huge.
Yeah,
you need everybody to step up. You need all the veteran guys that stay healthy and step up and add to their totals, because they need to replace a bunch of goals. So
a whole ton of goals, right?
A ton of goals.
So, and then obviously foreshadowing, like he's already at 4, right? Like 5 games into the season. So,
and he's only played 4.
He's only played 4.
He's a goal a game guy already.
Yeah. So nobody had that on the bingo card. Goal a game, Matteo Michels.
Definitely not.
But
and I'm happy for him.
No, I know. He seems like such a nice kid. Interviewed him a few times, and he's always pretty positive about stuff. So, and then you look at the Leighton Feist goal. Like, that's kind of, I think, what the team envisioned him doing. Like, that Raker Evans moved the puck, but it just hasn't come to fruition, has it?
No, that was probably his best play offensively his whole career. And it was a beautiful goal. But
so good.
We haven't seen much since. So
no,
it's unfortunate. Like if he could just put it together, he could be I don't know, maybe like a 50, 60 point guy on the defense, but he just can't seem to put it together. I don't know what the deal is, but
no. And then you look at and you see Parker Berg running PP1, right? You think that should be Feist's spot? Like he's the quote unquote offensive guy, but Berg is running PP1, and I don't want to slag on Berg or anything, but he just doesn't come off as like, say, a skill guy. Not that he isn't skilled. Like we've seen him make some nice plays, but Feist is the I don't know what word do you want to say, prototypical player that should run a PP. But
to be fair though, Berg really hasn't had the opportunity because they had Stan last year and
Evans before that.
Yeah, so he never really had the opportunity. So
yeah, that's fair. That is fair. But like just from my point of view, you think Feist should be that guy. Like he's
the fact that Feist is a first rounder and they're really, really high on him and they're expecting him to be something that unfortunately so far doesn't seem like he's reached.
He's panned out. Yeah, he just hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't got to that level yet. I think where they envisioned him when they drafted him, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, no, Parker Berg, he's looked good this year. Like there's nothing wrong with his game, especially on
solid and steady.
Yeah, and I mean he makes smart decisions like on the power play. Like he's not a detriment to the power play,
no,
at all.
Not.
So no, I just want to get that out there.
Yeah,
I'm not saying anything against him, but he's doing a good job. right? He was leading the team in points 3 games into the season, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, and then it was just a back and forth game. The tying goal there for Cole Temple, like that was on the power play, but it was such a smart play by him. He was in tight on the crease, and then he's a goal scorer because he just backs out that like 3-4 feet, gets a nice rebound, easy putback.
Made himself some room and put the puck in. First career goal in his hometown.
Yeah, so good for him. Good to see him going.
Congratulations to him. That was good to see.
Yeah, no, I really like that play. He just, if you're standing right on top of the crease like that, you don't get that rebound. It goes past you. But he's a smart player, and he just backed out, and easy goal for him.
He's going to be special.
Yeah, I think he is going to look good. Like we said before, that there's some young talent that is going to drive this team here in a year or two.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and then he gets that goal mid to the third period, and then it goes to overtime. And overtime, I think that was kind of the Tanner Howe shift. Sure, Whitehead scores a nice goal, but man, Tanner Howe was all over that shift. I thought he was going to have a really good chance. He kind of cut to the slot, but the puck rolled off his stick, or it got knocked off his stick, and then he picks it up and wheels around, and then he sets up Whitehead. That was a really nice play.
Very, very nice. Bravo to Whitehead too for scoring in the first game of the season. Hopefully that continues on the rest of the way.
Yeah, another guy that I don't want to say took a step back last year, but maybe he admitted it. He maybe focused not too much on defensively, but his defensive game, but he was really wanting to shore that up and be like, the third line center kind of guy that can be relied on defensively. And maybe not that he didn't shy away from offense, but it was maybe more defensive minded. So maybe he can flip that switch or not flip the switch, but focus on both at the same time.
But yeah, he also started the season kind of
hurt
didn't really
last
have a
year.
Training camp, so his training camp was the start of the season. So it took a while to get the game together. So hopefully, full training camp, and he's looked good so far. So hopefully, it'll carry on.
Like he only had 10 goals last year. He had 10 the previous season. So you're kind of thinking, oh, okay, he had 10. You're thinking 15, maybe 20 last year.
Yeah.
But that just didn't pan out for him. But I mean, 2 already in the first 5 games. So he's well on his way. I think in these guys getting these early goals, that's so much for confidence. Like Michels talks about that. Getting these early goals, you just start your season well, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, kind of an ugly game. I think, the coaches would probably think that's a little bit of an ugly game back and forth.
A 7-6 win.
But a win is a win.
Without Connor Bedard, Alexander Suzdalev, Stanislav Svozil.
He had to put up 7.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Any points early. So what? Brandon was missing some guys. Got it. A win is a win. 2 points matters no matter what.
Yep. 2 points or 2 points.
Pick up the wins as best you can.
Yeah.
Or as early as you can, or whatever.
Yeah. 2 points now is the same as 2 points in March when you're maybe looking to squeak into the playoffs, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. I mean, if they're down, you gotta take advantage of that. And then, I mean, that rolls right into the next game. Just back at home the next night.
Say congratulations to you and Huey for picking up his first win in his first game. It wasn't pretty. I'm sure he would say that because some of the goals were not the nicest goals. There was some bad bounces.
There's some turnovers.
Missed plays and stuff. But
yeah,
congratulations to him picking up the win. Hey.
Yes, thanks for reminding me about that. I forgot about that. Yeah. We haven't seen him live yet. He's played 3 road games or 2 road games. So
yeah,
we haven't seen him live, but we'll see. Pine mentioned that. It's just kind of back and forth. And they don't know until basically the lineup comes out who's starting. So there's no pre-planned schedule for them. So yeah, I don't have that in the interviews, but he mentioned that.
They'll probably go with the hot hand or whatever their vibe is. Whoever has a good practice the day before, probably.
Yeah. I can't remember if I left that part in with Brad, but I know Darryl Davis asked Brad about kind of the goaltending situation, and he's like, yeah, we're looking for somebody to take the reins, obviously, but we're gonna go back and forth and see how it plays out, right? So leading into the next game, so the Pats have to go to Brandon on a Friday night and come home. That's a late night out of Brandon. Saskatoon did not play Friday night, and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be a tough one on Saturday. But I mean, this is one of the better games I've seen in a long time from the Pats. Like they had a pretty decent game against Saskatoon.
Even though they only had 18 shots in the game, they played them well. Like the Saskatoon really didn't have a ton of great A+ scoring chances or anything like that, but
no,
it was a good effort all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, again, Saskatoon's missing some guys, but hey, the Pats took advantage of that and picked up the 2 points.
A win is a win. Get the wins while you can.
But yeah, so the story of this game is Braden Barnett, another guy that all of a sudden come out of nowhere to score 2 goals, right?
Yes, unbelievable.
and his fair share of penalties in the game as well.
That's his game. So.
It is. Oh yeah, a good period for him. The second period, 2 goals, 2 penalties.
Yeah, big bruiser. I like it. I like the Michels, Rowan, Barnett line. I really do. The veteran guys, the guys that have been around, but they're classified as the 4th line, but they've been playing pretty good when they've been together.
Yeah. It's nice to see. Like we said, they got to get scoring from whoever can chip in, and a guy like that getting 2 goals early, like we just said with Michels, maybe that just gets his season, just going, right?
Yeah. Especially when he had did he have 3 career goals or 4
I think he's got
goals
3
coming in?
Yeah. I
think he had 4 coming into the season. 3 a year before. I think he had 1.
He did. He did have 1. Yeah, 3 and 1. So he had 3 last year, 1 in 9 games in his rookie year.
So yeah, it's already almost matched his career high. So, and it's awesome.
Yeah, that's nice to see. And so yeah, we just need to see these top end guys get going.
Need some real consistency out of the guys.
Definitely. So yeah, I mean, there was nothing. This game was just, I don't know. I don't want to say no, that was a boring game, but it was just kind of a well played back and forth game, and the Pats just had it.
Yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting a little more physicality or a little more hatred between the 2 teams, but I guess there's enough turnover from both teams that the hatred kind of wasn't there. But you know what I mean? The hatred, the rough stuff, the chippiness.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I totally forgot about this from the interviews. Like the Pats, definitely that was on their mind that Saskatoon, beat them out last year.
Yeah.
So there was definitely some extra motivation on the Pats side for this game.
And it turned into something. It was good. It was a really good.
It turned into a win, right?
It was a really good effort from top to bottom, and Pine played really, really well in net.
Yeah, he looks solid. Like he looks like he's taken another step from last year. Like obviously he didn't play a ton last year, but I mean he looks pretty good. I mean, we'll get to the Moose Jaw game, this last one, but later where he may have laid in a couple weak ones, but I mean overall he's looked pretty good so far.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and his new pads are pretty sweet. So if you have a chance to see the pictures from Keith Hirschmiller on the Pats website, check out his new setup. It's pretty neat with the new thirds the Pats have.
Yeah, right. I forgot to mention that they debuted the jerseys. Maybe we'll discuss that at the end of the show, and let you know what we think of them. All right, so then I guess on to Moose Jaw. That was
Moose Jaw game 1.
First Moose Jaw game. Yeah. Like this first period was probably I said the Saskatoon game was a pretty solid game for the Pats. This first period against Moose Jaw was the best period I've seen Pats hockey in a long time.
A very long time. Very long time. I don't know the last time the Pats dominated. They owned the period.
Yeah,
until late in the first.
we talk about 18 shots against Saskatoon. Well, they had 17 in the first period against Moose Jaw. And there seemed to be some rebounds off Unger. Unger seems to have a glove issue. He can't catch a puck, it seems. And I don't know. I totally forgot to ask, but I don't know if they knew that on pre-scouting or if they noticed in the game that, okay, this guy's giving up lots of rebounds. Maybe it was more of a quantity versus quality mindset in that game. But unfortunately, yeah, they dominated the period, but they were down 1-0. Moose Jaw gets a goal later in the period, and you're just thinking like, oh, all that for nothing. Not nothing, but it was just like they just weren't able to capitalize on all those chances. And
but the Pats did rebound really quick, but it just seemed to take the wind out of the sails going forward.
Yeah, they scored 40 seconds later, but it was just like, oh man, the Pats should be up a couple going into the period or into the intermission rather than just tied, right?
But to be fair with Unger, he's got issues with rebounds and stuff, but he made some saves.
Yes.
Clearly did. Ended up stopping, 34 or something in that game?
He did stop 34, yeah. I mean...
Gotta give him props there, too.
No, for sure. Like, I don't know, the Pats had a ton of grade A scoring chances, especially in that first period. They had chances, but just nothing...
Just couldn't buy a break.
No. Right? And then I'm going to call this the jinx game because literally before Furcus scored that first goal, I said, man, the Pats have dominated this period so far. Watch, Moose Jaw's going to get one chance and they score. And then they scored.
And they did.
Then, the second jinx, it was Pats are up 2-1 going to the third, and you may have looked at the history to see when the Pats last started 3-0.
And within like 2 minutes they scored. And then they scored not too long after that. It's like,
so much for that 3-0 start.
Oh, well.
But, so, I mean, it was a little disappointing there. I mean, it's not like the effort wasn't there. It was just, they just couldn't finish. Just couldn't finish there.
Yeah. And, well, Moose Jaw got Fergus back the day before or whatever. And he really gave them a boost. Who had 3 points in that game.
3 points, but I did point this out to you, like, he wasn't really noticeable on the ice, but yet he still had 3 points, right? Like, he isn't, I'm not saying he isn't a good player, but I mean, he just sneaks around and all of a sudden, boom, he's got 3 points, right? You don't even notice him.
Yeah.
But, one other thing, it was the bad penalty to set up that game-winning goal. It was, a poor defensive play, and a bad penalty always costs you, right? Like,
of course,
it was tough, right? This team can't be doing that, right? They can't give those quality opportunities to these better teams, right?
Yeah,
in a 2-2 game.
The ones that can score on the power play.
Yeah, I mean, and it seems like Moose Jaw maybe doesn't have the depth. We talked about that. They've got some top end talent, but their depth maybe isn't quality depth.
But they do have, now that they got Jaeger back, they have 2 pretty good first and second lines. So any team that has a good first and second line is usually going to be okay.
Yeah, and they're still missing Denton Matejchuk, and I'm sure he'll be coming back. So that's a huge boost on the back end for them.
Yeah, but now that they get Jaeger and Fergus and stuff back, they're going to be okay.
Yeah, they should get rolling, right? They haven't had the best start, but I mean, most of these teams are missing guys, right? So,
but you remember last year they kind of underperformed. A lot of their players underperformed, so
a little bit, yeah.
Maybe, hopefully, for the Pats' sake, they continue to underperform a bit, and the Pats have a chance. But we shall see.
Definitely. So if that was the Jinx game, this next game, the PA game, we'll call this the penalty parade game.
The schmozzle. Oh. Every time there was a whistle at one point in time, every second period, every time there was a whistle, there was a penalty, or so it seemed. It was just unbelievable. There was just penalty. There was no momentum either way. It was just so hard to watch.
Yeah, and I missed the first period of this game, and like the rest of it was just like there was 16 power plays. I don't know how many. I'm not going to count all the penalties. The Pats had 7 power play chances. PA had 9. The Pats didn't score on either of their power plays. PA picked up 2 power play goals, so that's kind of.
I think 3 of the Pats' power plays were negated by penalties.
They were, yeah.
Or 4. 3 or 4. So
At least 3.
They only had like 15, 20 seconds on power play, like 3 power plays. So it's really, that's a hard number to gauge. But
that's true.
Man, penalty.
I know, right? Like,
and Brad gets kicked out.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Actually, in the first period, it looks like, in the first period, a power play got, I don't know. Well, there's a double minor there. Then PA took a penalty. Then the Pats took another penalty. Oh my God! Because like I said, I missed the first period. But
it was a schmozzle.
Yeah, and like you said, Brad got kicked out at the end of the game, but he did take a bench minor during a power play as well. So it's not like it was just the players.
Exactly, just penalties.
Yeah. So.
And congratulations to Corbin Vaughn on his first career goal. Nice play. Got the shot. Goalie stopped it, did the little quick wraparound, and tucked it in. It was
definitely
a nice career first goal for a defenseman.
Yeah, definitely, that was nice. Like you said, there's that penalty shot. I forgot about the penalty shot.
And the penalty shot too.
That was a terrible call, I think. I mean, I'm no ref, but I mean, that didn't look like he was impeded on his shot. I mean, there was a couple
Western Hockey
sticks.
League really hasn't specified what their expectations are to penalty shot, so it's really hard to say. But yeah, that was questionable at best, I think. And they don't even have it in the game sheet. Which is another thing that's weird. Like
it was
penalty shot saying it was stopped or anything like that. Just weird.
Yeah, usually, because I want to go watch that again, and there was no mention on the score sheet, so I had to scroll through the third period to find that the penalty shot and watch the replay like 3 or 4 times just to see what actually happened on that play. And I mean, there was nothing egregious. The guy got the shot off, and a couple sticks whacked him, but I mean, nothing serious. Like
from the angle. From PA, it's really hard to tell. Was the referee even really watching the play other than the puck? Looked like he was looking down at the puck, and he heard a tap, and he's like, "Oh, penalty shot." I don't know.
Yeah, neither do I. And then the one Vallis penalty, like he went down to block the shot, and he slid like 20 feet, and the guy tripped over him. He got tripping. Like that's not his fault. He was on the ice already. It's not like he fell down in front of the guy. The guy skated into him. Like it was just bad. Like it was bad both ways, right? It wasn't just.
Yeah, it was just there was no flow. Like you go from like what was it, 8 penalties or power plays the previous game, and then there's 16 here. Yeah. And then we go to the next game where there's like 4 the whole game. So
yeah, like both Moose Jaw games were really good flow. They were really good games, and this was just an ugly watch.
Oh yeah, it was so hard. Like, I couldn't imagine being in the stands as a Pats fan, but Raiders, whatever, you win. Hey, no matter what, you win. That doesn't matter. But when you're watching it like that, a game like that, when you pull out of the short end, it's not good.
Yeah, I mean they made a valiant effort late there.
Yeah.
Temple scores another one. Howe scores another. He got robbed, and I think did Barnett also have a breakaway at the end of that game?
With 6 seconds left.
Something like that, right?
Yeah, he got stopped with I think it was 6 or 7 seconds left. Yeah.
So they made a valiant effort, but it was a little bit too late there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just an ugly game. Like you just move on and yeah. So.
Yeah, move on. Go to the next one. What can you do?
Yeah, and so Saturday night you see Moose Jaw again. Again, another late night. I don't know where Moose Jaw was the night before, but always coming back from PA. That's another late one. And the Pats didn't dominate the first period like they did last time, but I thought they had a really solid game. 60 minutes. Like I said, there was 4 power plays total. It was a really good flow in the game.
Pats got up to a really good start. 21 seconds in, got a goal. So,
yeah, another Corbin Vaughn goal. 2 for him.
2 games scoring streak. That's pretty impressive.
Like we said 3 or 4 times this show, like we need those guys to be chipping in here and there.
Yeah.
And then Matteo Michels again, another 2 goals.
And an assist.
3 points.
He had a point on all Pat's goals.
There you go. Like, yeah, that it's good for him. But actually, we didn't mention it. He didn't play Friday night in PA.
Yeah.
So actually, Brad talked about that, and you'll hear from him. But I just quickly paraphrase. Like he mentioned that there's, other things in this game he needs to clean up, and so he sat Friday night, and then Brad said, yeah, he shoved it back in my face on Saturday, and he proved me not proved me wrong, but prove that he can, prove that he can focus on both sides of the puck, right? Like, he's got to be good defensively if he wants to play against these top lines with those guys. Now that you're older, you have to take on that responsibility, because you're not going to see like young guys like Temple and such playing against Furcus and Jaeger, right?
But they did a little bit.
They did a little bit, yeah.
Later in the game too, they were playing the young guys quite a bit too.
A little bit. So.
But you got the Barnett, Rowan, Michels line. They were by far, in my opinion, the best line against Moose Jaw.
Definitely,
Like
they were.
They played against whatever line Moose Jaw put out there, and they played awesome.
Yeah, they had some good shifts against that top line in the Moose Jaw end.
Oh yeah. Just to totally, I don't know if Moose Jaw wasn't prepared for the physical play or what. I don't know what happened, but Michels, Barnett, Rowan, they dominated a few shifts there. It was impressive.
Yeah, and Brad talks about that. He needs to see that from the rest of the team, right? So I mean, it is early, but it's nice to see those guys going though. Like we said, like those guys need, Howe and Vallis and Spencer and those guys should score. I'm not going to say they will score, but they should be getting.
They are penciled in to be do the bulk of the scoring, do the bulk of the heavy lifting. They're not expecting a ton from the third, fourth line guys, like the younger guys, or like the Michels, Barnett, Rowan guys. They're not expecting a ton from, I don't think. They're expecting a step up, but if you can get whatever you can get from them, it'll be a plus, a bonus.
Yeah, like if you get a goal from that top line in this game, maybe you win this game, right? It doesn't go to overtime.
100%.
Right. But yeah, Michael scores late to tie it up. A nice little play by Vallis to get it to him, and then overtime. Overtime's overtime, and there was a line change one guy changed from Moose Jaw, and then the Pats just lost the guy coming on, and of course the guy coming on is Jaeger, right? And he walks in and snipes. Unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, got a point. Moose Jaw's, other than Matejchuk, Moose Jaw's full staffed. The Pats are full staffed, but the Pats aren't expected to be the powerhouse or anything.
No, and
a point is a point.
No, and 2 games against Moose Jaw already, and they've looked good against Moose Jaw. Yes, they've only got 1 point out of those 2 games, but I mean, I don't want to say it's like it is what it is. Like they lost.
Don't know what to say, but yeah.
Yeah. Moral victories is the word I was looking for,
But it's not, a point is a point against anybody. 2 points is great, but a point is a point. Yeah. Points matter in the whole scheme of things.
We've seen that 2 years ago, right?
Exactly, yeah. A point cost them, or a couple points cost them playoff spots. So
yeah, and I mean, this conference is wide open. Like, I'm gonna say it's there for the taking, but there's no dominant team or two that's just gonna run away with this conference. So if you can get some wins against these top teams, and then you can and also pick up wins against the bottom teams, which you need to do. Maybe you can slip into the playoffs somehow. Remember, there's one less team in this conference, so only 3 teams miss the playoffs, not 4.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a little, there's a chance. I'm not saying that Pats are going to make the playoffs, but I mean,
and like you said, we know it's early, but you look at the standings. Like, there really isn't anybody running away with it. There's a whole bunch of 500-ish teams. Medicine Hat's 3-0-1. Brandon's 3-1-1. Lethbridge is 3-1. But everybody else is like 500-ish. Maybe a game over 500 or whatever. But it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to move on to these standings here, you look at, like, keep going down. Edmonton 2-1. Like that's, I'm not going to say surprising, but I mean they did only win 8 games last year,
Yeah, something
so
like that.
they can only go up from there.
Yeah.
The Blades are just 2-2. Prince Albert's 2-2. Red Deer's maybe a little surprising. They're only 1-2, but I mean it is 3 games. Swift Current 1-3 and Calgary 1-3. So I mean, it's wide open. I think maybe the only kind of team, for sure, we're going to be really good as Prince George, and we see them really lay a licking on Victoria.
Yeah, but it's Victoria. Victoria's, I don't know
0-4.
but they're in a rebuild.
They've been in a rebuild for a while.
I was just gonna say
Seems
it's a forever rebuild.
never-ending rebuild. Yeah, they've struggled to get some traction the last few years, but yeah, you look at the West. It's kind of the same thing: 3-1, 3-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. Right?
Yeah, a lot of teams over there have only played like 2 or 3 games, so it's just way too early to say anything about a lot of those guys.
Yeah,
2 games. Pats have played 5. Brandon's played 5, and like some of their teams have only played 2. So it's too early to even try to figure out where everybody's going to end up.
Yeah, no, for sure. But you look at Prince George. They've scored 29 goals, given up 11. So,
but they scored 11 in one game.
That is, and then they scored like 9 in another game, 8, 7, something like that.
Yeah, but 18-3. That's over 6 a game. So.
Yeah.
But the Pats, surprisingly enough, have scored 4 a game.
Yeah, 20.
Which is mind blowing. Like I would never have predicted him to score 4 a game. I know it's only 5 games in, but 4 a game, that's a lot of goals.
Yeah.
For a team that doesn't have Bedard, Suzdalev, Sposal.
Yeah, they don't have much top end talent, right?
But they need to keep the goals against down.
That's the thing, right? Yeah, they've scored 20. They've given up 19.
Yeah. Well, and the 7-6 game kind of hurts. Hurts that number, but basically, they can keep the goals against down and keep the goals for up. Hey, you'll win games.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. I mean, save for the Saskatoon game, the 5-1 game against Saskatoon, they're all basically 1-goal games, right?
Yeah, everything's been close.
So they're in games. They're not getting blown out. They're not looking bad. They've looked good. Like I've
knock on wood.
Yes, definitely. I guess maybe one notable absence in Moose Jaw game was Zach Stringer, scratched. It doesn't sound like he's hurt. You'll hear from Brad. From that, I guess we should put that in there before we go too much further. But yeah, so I don't know what's going on there. Not too sure. He didn't really want to expand upon it, but it doesn't sound like it's an injury. So
yeah, it's yeah. For a 20-year-old to be, if he's not hurt, for a 20-year-old to be a healthy scratch is, that's not good. No matter what team, no matter who the player is, that's usually a sign. So
yeah,
I'm sure we'll find out something before Wednesday because that's the next game.
Yeah, maybe something there. And I mean, they've extended the 20-year-old deadline to the 16th of October instead of usually the 10th.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's going to be guys getting released, so maybe they're looking at somebody else. Who knows, right?
Yeah, there's been a lot of guys on waivers already, like early.
Yeah.
Like usually it's like right at the deadline. All of a sudden, just last week there was 5 or 6 guys.
Mm-hmm.
So there are players out there that are available. So I guess if you want to take a flyer on a different guy, I don't know.
Like they already picked up Slaney, right? So obviously they're looking, right? So we'll see what happens. But yeah, we should hear from Brad. And then Matteo Michels from after the Wednesday game versus Moose Jaw, the overtime loss. So we'll hear from them and then we'll carry on.
Feel like you deserve better tonight?
Yeah, Daryl, we're going to stop saying that because we got to find ways to win here. This is what this league's about. I think we're playing real good hockey. I'm super happy with our effort, for sure. But this is a win. This is results business here. And I just feel like we have to play near perfect to win some games. And right now we're just missing that save or that bobbled puck or just that misassignment right now that just kind of bit us in the butt here the last couple games. Yeah, I don't think that anyone would like the way those guys are playing. And, I mean, we took Mike out of the lineup yesterday, for a good reason, but he shoved it right back in my face, and the way he played, and it's exactly what we need him going. And when those guys are playing that way, they're fully bought in, and they're fully bought into what their roles are, and they change our lines when they're on the ice. And I'm super proud of that line, and I think there have been, example for the rest of our hockey club right now.
You mentioned that's kind of a tough situation, right? Do you want them to bounce back? Is that what you're looking for?
Well, the biggest thing when we sat Mike out, he was our leading scorer at the time, So, but there's some things in Mike's game that he needed to get better at, and he wants the role. And for him to play against other teams' best lines like Jagger and Furcus, he needs to be mind, body, and soul. And he kind of got away from that, and he understood that. We did some video, and Mike's. He wants to be successful. He wants to help our team win, and you've seen him when he's focused and he's, driven into a purpose and what he's doing out there. He can be an effective hockey player.
Is that one of his best games you've seen him play?
Yeah, I think so. I think Mike's been one of our best, out of every game he's played besides the last game against Moose Jaw. Mike's been one of our top 3 players every night, and it's just because of his effort and his skating ability right now. That's what our system is skating. If you can't skate, it's going to be tough for you to play in our system. But, Mike, he skates real easy, but the biggest thing is he's just bought in right now. And for me, he's not worried about scoring goals. Goals are happening because he's playing good hockey.
Your goalie rotation, are you going to alternate back and forth? Is that the way it's going to go? Or
yeah, we're kind of like everything, every position. We're waiting for someone to step up and take the job right now. I think with both of them, having some tough luck in some of the games, we got to see who the fresher guy is. We want someone to step up. I think Kelton he made some real big saves tonight. I think he would like 2 of those back. But either way, I think both our goalies, they're just like our players. They're figuring out their positions too.
You need 2?
We need 2, for sure. I think they're both 18 years old. With Huey, he's a European goalie. That's the fact, and he's going to take a while to amalgamate into here. And we need 2 goalies. I think we need all 25 guys in a roster. The way our team is built this year, Daryl, we need everybody bought in. And even for this week, we're not a team that can be built on waiting for 2 players to save the day. We got to have everybody going, and it's going to be a different hero every night. Unfortunately for us, our best players just haven't got going yet. But our other worker bees guys, I think, have really carried the torch for those guys, and they have scored goals here and there, but just not consistency enough that we've seen of those other Mike, Rowan, and Barney's line. Yeah, we just went with a different lineup tonight, and what we felt was give us the best chance to win. I'll kind of leave it at that.
What do you like about Pine? When you switch goalies, you said you're looking for something. Are you looking for something specifically from him?
Well, I think Kelton makes a lot of big saves. Yeah. It's that second goal that went in that he's just straight on saves, the saves that you would expect to make. I think he needs to be more consistent with that, but he's real good at making the secondary save, the east-west dot-to-dot saves. He's real athletic. He battles, but he just has to work on just the saves that, the pucks that can't go in kind of thing. And I think, Kelton's the first guy to admit that second one shouldn't be in, but he'll be better at it, and he'll work on Monday with him and Danny to getting better at stopping that one.
He's got a couple good glove saves.
Yeah, he did. He did. The first period made a lot of real big saves.
Another 2 goals tonight. What's the difference between this year and, say, the last 2 years?
I think, playing time a little bit, getting older, getting stronger, all that kind of stuff. But I think it's also our line, like Barney and Rowan. We have a lot of chemistry because we played together the last 2 years. So I think we're able to we always know where each other are on the ice, so it makes it pretty easy.
Is it tough going that long without getting that first one? You are a skilled guy.
Yeah, I would say it was definitely tough, adversity, always in and out of the lineup, but that's kind of stuff that you battle through. Some guys don't go through that until they get to like the AHL or pro level, so it's kind of nice to go through that at a young age. So then when I get to the pro level, I'm kind of used to it, that adversity and stuff like that. So
Brett mentioned that you sat out last night for other issues in your game, but he said he shoved that right back in my face in the game tonight. How does that make you feel?
That definitely makes me feel good, but I know that he believes in me, and I know he did it for a reason, and I think it was a good learning lesson for me, and I think it obviously showed tonight. So.
Getting these goals early, how do you think that's going to carry you through this season?
That's definitely one thing that my dad always says. He's like, always focus on your first 10 games of the season, because that's how the rest of your year will go. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on, and I try and listen to my dad as much as I can.
All right. Yeah, Matteo Michels, he just seems like a nice kid, so it's good to see him get the success, get his season started.
He's
hopefully
the Pats' leading goal scorer.
he is. Yeah, he is, right? So hopefully that he can.
And by Wednesday, you mean Saturday's game.
Saturday, yes. Sorry, got mixed up. Wednesday. Well, that's what happens when you have 5 games. But I mean, mind you, Moose Jaw twice this week, so.
Yeah, so it was Saturday's game, the overtime loss game.
Yeah. Yeah. So where do we want to go from here? I mean, we kind of talked about the conference a bit.
Well, looking ahead, I guess.
Actually, we should talk about the jerseys.
Okay, we could talk about the jerseys then, looking ahead. Whatever.
Yeah.
However you want to go.
What do you think about the jerseys? So they've just basically reversed the red thirds from last year.
At first, I was very underwhelmed, but I think they look kind of neat. They're the opposite. It's a different look. It's got the big PPCLI old school logo on the front, which I love that logo. So
Do I.
Pretty much whatever they do with the jersey, it doesn't really matter. The logo's there. I think it's neat.
Yeah, it looks good.
But like I said, I still feel it's a little underwhelming. It looks good. Don't get me wrong, it looks good, but I think it's a little underwhelming because I know they didn't really put out a big pomp and circumstance or anything for the new jersey with the new slogan "Ignite" or whatever, "Ignite Tonight" or whatever the thing they call it. And they come out and it's just a reverse red jersey from last year.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they didn't put out a press release or anything. They just said, "Hey, we're gonna have a new jersey on Friday night," and they warmed up in their regular whites, and then they came out in the new whites. So, but it was kind of a little hint because they were wearing the proper socks, right? You're like, okay, I think we're just gonna go reverse reds. And actually, we got to give credit to Random Canuck. He kind of had a keen eye and saw in the video. He paused the video and is like,
"I think a good screen grab."
Yeah, he's like, "I think they're gonna go white with whatever and reverse
Couldn't really tell from the picture itself, but you could tell they're gonna be white, but you couldn't tell the other color, or if there was a stripe down the sleeve, because like there was a shadow. It almost looked like there was gonna be a stripe down the sleeve.
Yeah,
which I think would look cool, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. They're nice, but they're underwhelming. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, I don't think I like them as nice as the Reds, but like you said, anything they do with the PPCLI logo is a winner in my books.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, yeah, I guess we can look ahead at the schedule. Another Wednesday game. So we got the conference leading Medicine Hat Tigers, like we mentioned.
The high flying Tigers with their 20-year-old defenseman.
Yeah, and some young skill, namely Gavin McKenna.
Yep.
Bedard's cousin of some sort. So he's done real well already in his career. So nice to see him firsthand. And then you got a couple more Central teams. Looking too far down. Saskatoon, and then that's it for the week. Yeah, that's it for the week. And then you got.
So it's a quiet week.
Yeah, so Saskatoon again in Saskatoon. So I don't know. I think maybe Saskatoon would be a little more prepared for the Pats. I don't know if they were.
Oh, and they also have Molendijk back on defense, so that's.
Yeah, that's a big boost.
But they lost to Calgary today, so anything's possible.
It is, right? I don't know. That's Friday. They don't say the date on the schedule. I don't know why they only have they don't have the day. They've only got the date. That's Saturday.
The 7th is a Saturday.
So is Saskatoon playing Friday night? I don't know, but Pats aren't. So they'll have some fresh legs, hopefully, for Saturday night, and they can maybe grab another 2 points from Saskatoon. You never know.
Neither team plays on Friday. Neither team plays Friday.
Okay. All right, so 2 fresh teams
Yeah.
for Saturday night. Yeah, so that's I don't have too much more. There's a lot of games, but there wasn't a ton of other stuff off the ice per se.
Not really, no. Other than the crowds do not look great.
Yeah, a little underwhelming. That Wednesday game was rough.
Yeah, the whatever you call it, the announced attendance was just over
20,
like just 2378 or
79.
something like that.
Yeah, 79.
Yeah, that's rough. The last time the attendance was that low was almost 30 years ago. So, yeah.
I know it's a Wednesday, but I mean it's not the middle of winter yet.
And it's
Moose Jaw, right? Yeah.
2,300 people, and there wasn't
Ticket-
even
20
close
no,
to 2,300 in the building.
2,300 tickets sold.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't think there was 2,300 people in the building.
No, definitely not.
So that's unfortunate to see.
Yeah, it's rough. Even the overtime game here, the last game, they have it 3,800 or whatever, and it was pretty sparse.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe three on Saturday.
Oh, I don't even think it was that many, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I know there are factors beyond the Pats people's control, but man, it's unfortunate these kids got to see the whole. Look how long it took them last year for the crowds to come for the Bedard show.
Yeah, it wasn't until after juniors.
Because they got used to playing in front of 6,000 people every night. Then all of a sudden you get half that or a third of that. Ooh, I feel bad for the boys.
I know, it's unfortunate. I mean, you look at home games last year, like there was a 2,700 PA.
Yeah.
I don't know what night it was because it doesn't say the day, but I mean 43 at the opener, then 3, 31, 27, 32, 29, 36, 30, 35, 28 in November.
The 27 was a Wednesday.
It was a Wednesday. Okay, that kind of makes sense, but I mean, still, that's with Bedard. That's with, I mean,
2807 was a Wednesday.
Okay.
2956 was a Wednesday.
Yeah, the rest are over 3.
2930 against Seattle was.
That was a Friday.
It was a Friday. Bedard wasn't here, and it was 2,930 people.
Yeah,
that was a Friday.
Yeah, no Bedard, no Svozil, and Seattle rolling into town, so you know that was going to be a rough one.
Yeah.
And then obviously it took off after juniors, right? But it's not like people didn't know he was good.
But they probably realized that we better get our butts there because otherwise we might not be able to see him ever again.
Yeah.
Unless you want to spend a couple $100 to go watch him play in Calgary or Edmonton or wherever.
Yeah, just tickets alone, then your travel and accommodations, right?
Yeah.
So. But yeah, no, it's unfortunate. There's multiple factors, but it's too bad for the kids, right?
Yeah. They got to pack the place, but it's unfortunately I don't think it's going to happen.
No,
not for a while anyway. Because too many factors. Just look on social media. People tell you every game.
Yeah,
why they don't go.
Yeah. And we're not here to take sides. It is what it is.
No.
And we're just
No bashing from here.
No.
I have my season tickets.
Yeah.
So I'm a season ticket holder. I have been my whole life, and it's unfortunate to see this place as empty as it has been.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I mean, I don't have much more. I hate to end on kind of a sad note or downer note.
It's not really a downer note, but it is what it is.
It is. I think it is a little bit.
But hey, remember how we did our predictions? And I said the Pats are going to win 30 games. They're well on their way to winning 30 games. Knock on wood. Knock on my head. Knock on wood. And hey.
I mean, they haven't looked bad, right? That's the thing.
No, they've looked.
They're competitive.
Even when they haven't looked great, they haven't looked bad.
Yeah.
They've had some bad shifts, Everybody, even the good teams had bad shifts. Like Moose Jaw had some bad shifts this last game. PA had some bad shifts. It's just it's early in the season. Lots of guys are just coming back from NHL camps and whatever. But there's still some continuity issues with a lot of teams. The Pats even have continuity issues. Like Kristanovich has only played 2 games. Mushimansky's played 1.
Almonds played
Almonds
one.
only played. He's played 2 now.
Oh, he's played 2. Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
there's some continuity things. They got extra bodies, and then Stringer being a scratch this last game for whatever reasons.
Yeah. What happens with that, right?
I'm sure we'll find out by Wednesday what's going on. If there's a roster change somewhere, it'll be it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting week, and I don't think Alan Miller is going to be doing anything big yet because it's still early. It's only 5 games in. Got to see how the rest of the next month or so goes, and then maybe.
Yeah, he's got to see what he's got, right?
Yeah.
Like, he is familiar with the players, but he isn't familiar with the team as a whole, right?
Yeah.
So he's got to sit back and kind of like, all right, what do we got here? What do we need? What can we address, right?
And he's got I'm sure he's gauging what the players are worth, if there's value for whatever, because I don't see him having any ties to really any of the players.
Yeah.
Brad does, because Brad's been here forever. Ken Schneider's been here for a few years, so he's got ties to the players, but Alan Miller has no ties to the players. So
no,
if there's something there for value, and if he needs something to bring in picks for whatever, like for building for the future, I don't see him not making moves, but who knows?
Yeah.
He hasn't made a trade yet. He's got Slaney on the waiver wire, so he hasn't even made a trade yet. So
yeah, and I don't recall kind of, he was just Moose Jaw, but I don't really recall him being like what his style exactly was. Like, I don't, they had a good team obviously in 17-18, and like they built that pretty well from within, I believe. Like, there wasn't, they didn't pull a Swift Current and unload the kitchen sink for guys. So I think, it's maybe just a wait and see approach with him, and he's just got to take note of what he's got. And maybe teams are calling for him, or calling on some of the Pats players and saying, hey, we're interested in this guy, and maybe he does make a move, like you said, to recoup some picks that are missing right now. Yeah.
But like I said, so far so good.
Yeah.
Nobody's really looked bad. Some players have looked really, really good, way beyond our expectations. Some players have been under the expectation, are under our expectations. So it's going to be an interesting next little bit.
Definitely. But yeah, with that, we should wrap it up. It was a long one, 5 games, a little bit extra to talk about. But yeah, I mean, 2 weeks in, not bad. 2-3, 2-1, I guess, and a couple games coming up. So hopefully they can make some hay this week and pick up some more points. Have a good night, folks.
Have a good one.